Day right around the corner. These are the books that are on my February TBR. And I'm going to say tentatively because I'm such a mood reader that if I am reading something that I don't want to read and there's something else I want to read, it puts me in a bad reading slump. But these are the options I'm giving myself this month. I do want to read some good romance books this month. Obviously with Valentine's Day, it's very fitting. So let's talk about these books that I have. The first book on my radar is The Love Hypothesis by Ali Hazelwood. I have not yet read an Ali Hazelwood book. I hear about her all the time. I posted on my Instagram story a bit ago asking which Ali Hazelwood book I should read, and the poll suggested this one as the most picked. So I bought a copy on Pango, which is like a thrifted book site. The thing about me and romances is that I usually only read them on recommendation. I never really pick out a romance book at the store, look at the back and think, oh, this really interests me. But once something's recommended to me, I read it and I enjoy it more often than not. Which I always saw the cover of this one is sciencey and I do not like science. So I put it off for a long time, but I hear such great things that I'm gonna give it a chance. The little blurb on the back of the book says, when a fake relationship between scientists meets the irresistible force of attraction, it throws one woman's carefully calculated theories on love into chaos. We'll see how I like this. And I forgot to say, stay tuned for the beginning of March when I post my February wrap up. You can see my thoughts on each of these books and you can see which ones I actually did end up reading this month. The font looks pretty big and it's less than 400 pages, so hopefully this is a quick one to fly through. The next book on my radar is actually one I do not have with me yet because it's a pre-order. I pre-ordered Ali Hazelwood's new book, Deep End, which is about two college swimmer, I think it's a rival type thing, could be wrong, but I'll be able to read this one, see if I like it, and then I can read Deep End when it comes out. That one sounds more interesting to me. She is so needy right now. But yeah, I'll let you know if I like that one, if I end up reading it. The next book I have here, I also got on Pango. The Unhoneymooners by Christina Lauren, which I know Christina Lauren is a duo that they write together, but I've heard great things about this book. I've had it on my Kindle for a long time, on Kindle Unlimited, so I'm hoping I can get to it this month. This one says, for two sworn enemies on the Hawaiian trip of a lifetime, anything can happen, maybe even love, in this romantic comedy from the New York Times bestselling author of Roomies. This one sounds fun. It sounds very spring breaky vibes with the whole Hawaii thing, so if I don't get to it this month, maybe I'll read it over spring break or this summer. But the cover is so cute too, I love it. Abby Jimenez became a top author of mine last year just for the sole fact of Just for the Summer. I absolutely loved that book and she lives in the same area as me. So I was able to go to her bakery and pick up some signed copies. So I picked up one of each of the ones that she had available at that bakery. Two of the four I got I haven't read yet, so I do want to read them eventually. First we have Life's Too Short. This cover is also really cute. It's a very Abby Jimenez cover. This one says it's a beautiful and laugh out loud story about life, love, family, and the art of screwing it all up. Abby is a phenomenal She is so needy. I love Abby's writing. I can't wait to jump into this one, and all of her covers have a really cute doggy on it, or I guess almost all of her covers do, and this doggy is precious. And then the last book that's on my TBR is The Friend Zone, again by Abby Jimenez. Oh, the doggy is on the back of this one. It's so cute. This says, the friend zone is a beautiful tale of learning to accept the love you deserve. A zippy, instantly recognizable voice and a fresh, funny characters. That's so cute. Look. Luma, there's a doggy. I don't know why she's acting stressed out. She's perfectly fine right now. But yeah, those are the books that are on my TBR for this month. Again, I'm going to be posting monthly wrap-ups with extended reviews because at the end of the year, I post a very shortened version of that for every book I read throughout the year. So these are a good way if you want more extended review to follow along that way. Now let's talk about some romance tropes and my thoughts on them. Okay, the top one is enemies to lovers. Two characters start off hating each other, but over time they begin a romantic relationship. I actually really enjoy enemies to lovers, but sometimes I feel like that trope can get very oversaturated, overused in the publishing community, especially now with book book talk. And don't get me wrong, I love a good enemies to lovers, but if you're gonna market a book as enemies to lovers, in my opinion, there actually needs to be a reason why they don't like each other, which I don't know. I love book talk for a lot of things, but I also don't like book talk for a lot of things, especially with how books are marketed nowadays. That's a topic for another day. But some of my favorite, especially romantasy books, are enemies to lovers. And in fantasy, I think you can make it a lot more believable that they're actual enemies versus just a normal romance book. The next one that came up is fake relationship, a popular plot device where characters pretend to be in a romantic relationship for various reasons. I haven't read too many of these, honestly. I don't mind them. I think for fake dating, I'm kind of in between of, I don't love this, but I don't hate it either. And I think it depends why they're fake dating and how good the reason is for it, because I think it can be really cute, but I also think it limits how unique the story can be. I just realized Holly is up there. The other thing that I do not like about fake dating is that oftentimes, at least in the books I've read, there's a miscommunication trope that ends up happening because of the fake dating. And that's my least, spoiler alert, I don't know if that's on this list, but that is my least favorite romance trope that I can think of, honestly. Especially when they're adults. I just feel like you should be able to talk out your feelings and say how you feel. And I understand that a lot of times it's because people don't want to get hurt, but it gets really frustrating to have to read a misunderstanding trope that's built in a book, because a lot of times it takes a long time for that to get resolved. So I see that a lot in the fake dating, which if that's the case, I lean more towards I don't really enjoy this. I don't really search out fake dating, if that makes sense, like I probably would for enemies to lovers. The next one is friends to lovers. I don't know why Holly is standing like that. She's like trying to bark at something. Two friends who start as friends and gradually fall in love. Very self-explanatory. I think this definitely can be done very well, and it can be very wholesome and sweet. One of my favorite romance books of all time is People We Meet on Vacation, and that's a friends to lovers, and that type of thing. I love that. I think it's really sweet. The next one is second chance romance. Romance between two or more people who were previously romantically intertwined. I haven't read a ton of second chances, but I'm trying to think what my thoughts are on it, honestly. For example, a second chance romance can involve someone finding happiness after previous heartbreak and loss, or it can be when former partners get another shot at love with each other. I don't know. Sometimes I have a hard time reading the romance books about people just getting over their ex and happening to find someone else, and that's kind of the second chancey vibe of it all. But when I think of stories like Funny Story, and that's very much a second chance, but I think that one was unique because both of the female main character and the love interest, they both were experiencing that second chance. I think it can get kind of messy when one person is very emotionally available and the other person is not, because they've had heartbreak in the past. And sometimes that can be frustrating to read about. Again, another one that's super situational for me. We have love triangle, where a character has to choose between two love interests. I haven't read a ton of these that I feel like were done well and that were true love triangles. I think love triangles can get very cliche. I think I've read more books where people have made it out to seem that there was more of a love triangle than there actually was. I think about the Hunger Games, where people are always like Team Peeta, Team Gale, but in reality, if you actually read the books, there never really was a love triangle there. Katniss's intentions were very clear from the beginning. Yes, she had moments of confusion. I am not a huge fan of the love triangle. I'm not, because for me, it usually results in the main character, or whoever's the one having to choose between two people, that person ends up becoming kind of insufferable to me in most cases. Arranged marriage. I don't think I've ever read an arranged marriage book, and I don't think I will. It doesn't really interest me, to be honest. Grump and Sunshine. One character is so grumpy all the time, the other character is so bubbly all the time. In this trope, you pair two opposing personality types together and watch the magic happen. I do think Grumpy Sunshine tropes are really fun, and I really do enjoy reading them. Meet cute. The moment when two characters meet in a humorous or unusual way. It sets the tone for the relationship. This one is very 50-50 for me. It depends how unique the meet cute is. I think Just for the Summer has one of the most unique meet cutes I've heard of. So I enjoy it if it's that type of thing, but otherwise I feel like it can get kind of cheesy. Forced proximity. Characters are forced together in close quarters, often against their will, leading to unexpected romantic developments. I do like a forced proximity. Again, if it's done right. Repeatedly puts the main characters in each other's path until those gorgeous sparks finally ignite. Forbidden love. I think I've only read these really in fantasy books. Love that defies societal or familial expectations. So like very much a Romeo Juliet type vibe. These can be really sweet or they can be very tragic, which very much sums up the vibe of Romeo and Juliet. The last one I'll do here is Billionaire Romance, which I read my first and only one of those tropes last year. It was Summer in the City by Alex Astor, and I enjoyed it. I did enjoy that book. However, it is so ridiculously out there that although it's fun for the story, I don't think I could read those often. I think I'll have to go a very long time before I pick up another billionaire, millionaire, whatever romance, because I saw this in Summer in the City and I, again, don't have anything else to compare it to, but there very much was the trope of let me just buy your love, and I'm sure that is a common trope throughout a lot of these types of romance books. Overall, those are my thoughts on different romance tropes. Let me know if there's any other romance books I should have on my radar. You can comment them down below and I'll add them to my Goodreads, which you can follow. It is linked in the description box below. I will see you all next week, which next week will be my January wrap up. Thanks for hanging out with me. Bye.